So this, my friends, is the Bataleon Goliath. To give you a quick summary of what this is just one of the most unique, weird rides we've tried this year. This triple base technology comes with a learning curve. It's difficult to understand at first, and at the demos when we tried TBT, we didn't like it. The first time I rode TBT years ago, I've only gotten little samples, like a day at a time, a few runs at a time, and then traded in. We finally got an extended demo in all conditions. We took 4 days of riding in varied terrain from, amazing soft spring conditions with a little corn to shitty, horrible, dark, disgusting, slow and fast snow that just with no visibility to super hard, nasty snow mint with just a little sprinkling of powder here and there under possibly some of the worst groomed runs I've ever tried. With just chunks.
You're selling it.
Yeah.
You're totally selling it, James.
So we got this in all conditions, and all I have to say is for its flex, it's one of the most buttery, forgiving, yet poppy, playful boards I've ever tried. Not an amazing amount of edge hold, but more than we thought, and it just took a long time to learn and to get to know, and that could be a deal breaker for some. So I think that's kind of like one of the only hang-ups with this board. But let's get into it. Here's a flex. Oh yeah, it feels medium stiff, but on snow, this thing butters like a champ. The Evil Twin was better, but the Haldor right over there was pretty close to this. Maybe just a touch softer, but they both felt like an easy board to butter. And I was really surprised at how spinny and easy this thing was. But it had this great pop too, which was really surprising for how loose and playful it felt. And I think that's basically because of this camber profile that just has camber kind of like down the center, and then these lifted sides that go lift for a long time and taper back in. So it's a very unique feel. It's a very unique ride. It felt edgeless at first. Day one was edgeless and scary. Day two, starting to understand, I figured it out day two. I was like, lean inwards and put more pressure between your feet. And I was like, hey Jimbo, try this. And then we both started trying that, and all of a sudden we started to get consistency in all conditions. It didn't feel like this edgeless, rudderless ride. It just felt like, okay, just everything comes from more pressure. You're kind of squeezing your knees together and channeling that down into your toes in the center of the board to turn it. And when you did that, the edge feels like it engaged better and worked throughout the whole board. But at first, it's just so loose and forgiving, but not loose like continuous rocker. It just felt like I couldn't find an edge. I could just go like this, and every board I did that with Jimbo filming. I could never do that with any other board. So that was really cool. But it's just got this very unique on snow feel. But the cool part is it's very consistent throughout all conditions once you get to know it. It's just that learning curve. That's the one thing. We're just so used to riding boards a different way with, feeling that edge, throughout some or most of the board, where you don't really feel this edge at all until you try to force it to appear. Speaking of edge hold, it had a pretty good edge hold in hard snow. We were on some just nasty, snow mint today. It was just starting to snow, so there were some patches that just had nothing there. Then some patches with a little bit of powdered sugar on top of just a block. It wasn't like a solid block of ice, more like a cement block. There was some porous stuff going on there, so it wasn't terrible. The edge could get in there, but there were so many other boards that could make me feel more comfortable.
True.
We thought it was going to be horrible based on all this lifted edge, but it wasn't bad, especially the more you learn how to steer it. And then when you do, you get into better turn initiation, and it turns much better edge to edge. I felt this thing was quick, medium quick. At first, I felt like I couldn't even get it to turn. And then after you get to know it, you're like, oh, okay, this thing's transitioning well edge to edge. We're starting to have fun making some more, some wider radius, some more aggressive turns and carves, and I was having a good time. And I feel like it carves okay, The speed with this felt like it had good mountain speed, didn't you, Jimbo?
Yeah, good mountain speed.
Yeah, we were having good times with this. And uneven terrain, these boards just have that same quality that Yes does. I think it's because they're both made from SWS. They just have this just nice, softish kind of feel, this rubbery, buttery, a shock absorbent feel, but still somehow
not floppy.
Retain some pop. Poppy, but not floppy.
Yeah, poppy, not floppy.
It can handle anything. You can weave in and out of bumps. You can power over a little chunder, deal with some micro bumps. It really can handle all conditions pretty well. Switch, great either way. We said 99% twin.
99%
I don't know what
twin.
that 1% is, but it's good. And then powder, we didn't get any powder, but it seems like with this lifted technology going through that it's going to be right on par with a lot of the better hybrid shapes that we've tried. Continuous rocker to hybrid shapes for twins. And in the park, we had just such a blast in the pipe. Yeah. We didn't really get to ride the park, but man, it was so forgiving and easy in a soft pipe, and it's so much fun. It has such good pop off natural terrain, and it seems like it would jib well, but we don't really know. That's not really something we can speak to. It seems like it would lock in well here.
I think you would be able to jib this.
Yeah,
if and then good.
Yeah,
good snowboarder.
Yeah, I think it's just like the learning curve we had with turning.
Above average snowboarders over here.
Yeah, above average, kind of average, like perpetually average. But overall, I think this is just a very poppy, very playful, very forgiving board, and it's just, these boards just butter better than any other board I've ever tried. The only thing is the learning curve. It's kind of a deal breaker. It's what makes these harder to recommend to just somebody who might only be riding 10 to 15 days a year. It might take 5 to 10 to really understand it, and then your season's over when you're just starting to have fun. So there's some commitment to this.
You still got a cool board for next year.
Yeah, next year you'll be enjoying yourself. But there you go.